Bill, before we talk about individual stocks, can you tell me about the focus of the Hennessy Sustainable Fund? Ticker is STNC. So what rules do you follow to pick your stocks?
Sure. So we try and invest at the intersection of strong underlying fundamentals and adherence to managing material risk factors that relate to environmental, social governance, or ESG activities. And so essentially what we do is we build a portfolio where we need to like companies that are good at both, and then we optimize the portfolios in order to manage downside risk.
And you don't use a market cap weighted approach when it comes to building your fund. How do you build your fund?
We start with companies we like, and then we weight the companies in order to get as much diversification with the least amount of risk possible. So no, we are not tethered to a market cap weighted regime, because once that happens, then you've got right now 40% of the S&P 500 is in the 10 largest stocks.
And are those 10 largest stocks sustainable? Are any of those in your fund? Because it seems like you end up with a lot of tech stocks in a lot of sustainable funds because they're not cranking out CO2 emissions, for example.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think that's kind of the conventional approach to building ESG portfolios. Our focus is a little bit different. We're trying to invest across as much of the economy with conviction. We're part of the Hennessy family of funds, $3.5 billion, 17 funds, all high conviction managers. And so we're not simply trying to replicate or closet index and own NVIDIA at 8% of the portfolio.
And before we get into some individual stocks and let you talk your book, what's the political environment like for you right now as a sustainable fund manager? Obviously, the president is not so interested in sustainability when it comes to stocks.
No, he's not. It really doesn't affect us, Greg. I mean, we do what we do. I think the important point, though, is that U.S. businesses are not shying away from climate risk. BDO did a study released in February. 88% of CFOs are either spending as much or more on sustainability than they did a year ago. These are people who care about bottom line. So they are making the business case that sustainability is good business.
All right, let's do well by doing good. Give me a stock you like.
Welltower. It's in our portfolio. It's been there about a half a year. Exceptionally well-run company. It's got kind of a moat around it demographically, in the sense that as Americans age, they're looking for senior living opportunities. Welltower has taken the conventional model of just owning or being in the REIT business and turning it into end-to-end services that involve kind of the intersection of housing, wellness centers, and even leisure and travel.
How about one more stock?
Delta Airlines. Some people think of domestic airlines as just kind of a bad neighborhood. I'm not going to argue that point, but Delta is the best house in that neighborhood. I think that they have a very diverse revenue stream. They're also well-run, well-governed, and the stock is up about, I think, 9 or 10% since we bought it at the beginning of this quarter.
And then finally, in your view, what's the future for sustainable investing? Because it has gone through some turmoil, some changes over the last 10 years, some changes in acronyms. People don't even know what to call it anymore. So where's it headed from here?
Well, I think you're starting the trend. I think people are starting to call it sustainable investing. I think ESG was confusing. It means different things to different people. It's not going anywhere. I think that it is going through a bit of a maturation right now. The same, think of it as like .com became a whole lot of other things, but it's no longer called the .com age anymore. And I think the age of sustainability, it's now being integrated into businesses. There's more transparency of data for fund managers to take advantage of. And it's really not going anywhere despite all of the rhetoric.
All right, well, thanks a lot for coming on and talking about it.
Greg, thanks for having me.